break your hold on me. I need to go. It's not my time to leave. There's so much more to this. I'll love my life's not lost. No, you won't break me. You should know by now. The end for me will be the beginning of my story.
好的，各位现场的观众朋友以及在电脑屏幕前收看直播的电竞爱好者们，大家好！您现在收看的是由红牛维生素功能饮料冠名播出的红牛 ECL 2013电子竞技冠军联赛 DOTA 2赛季的线下直播，我是主持人 Kes，
我是还不走。
那接下来要给大家带来的比赛就是之前已经预告过的3、4名的季军争夺战。那这一场呢是 DK 对上 RStars， 这场比赛的话，我们应该是一场一局定胜负。这一场打完之后，可能就是要迎来大家应该更加想关注到的冠军，究竟这个3大错觉会不会都消失？
还有一点啊，就是你像 LODA 来中国一次，Navi 来中国一次都拿到冠军了，这个 Orange 总不能再把这个冠军让给外国对吧？
那不能这样说，不能说他们第一次来都拿了，因为 Orange 已经来过好多次中国都没有拿到。
是啊。
其实最关键问题的应该是。
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
Hey everybody, we are live with Rising Stars Gaming versus DK in the 3rd and 4th place decider in the Redbull ECL LAN tournament. And I'm not exactly sure if this is BO3 or BO1. It's actually a BO1, so this will be the one and only deciding match to see who comes out 3rd and 4th place. I believe 3rd place is in the money and 4th place is not. Rising Stars already pretty far. LD pull up the bracket. Rising... Let me see the bracket, LD. Well, Rising Stars beat out the heavy favorites, IG, in the first match of the playoffs. And after that, they lost to Orange. It was a 2-1 loss for them, though, although I think it definitely should have been 2-0. One of the games was extremely long and just pretty much thrown by Orange. But Rising Stars having a pretty good performance thus far. And on the flip side, we see DK on the bottom half of the playoff bracket. And they beat out VG, I believe that was a 2-0 victory. And they lost to LGD China again in a 2-1. So both of these teams taken out 2-1 by rather strong teams in Orange and LGD China. And the draft is already well underway. I'm trying to figure out the prize pool for the thing. I'll have to refer to Wikipedia for that. And LD is messing up the camera shot. And we're trying to get in the game here. So we have 3 bands already out from it. Wow. Okay, there you go. There we go. Want to buy Kawa back, please.
Not producing and casting at the same time.
So, Alchemist looks to be the first pick from DK. And if you don't ban Alchemist in the first stages, you pretty much just have to assume that the next team will pick Alchemist or Visage. Usually Alchemist, but we have seen some teams take Visage over Alchemist. I actually would prefer an Alchemist pick just because I think that hero is broken. He's more versatile. He farms like a champion. His stun does way too much damage. And the hero's awesome. Well, DK going back a little bit old school with the pre-6.78 second pick Magnus. Alchemist can super chop away with that Empower buff, though, and he can lane decently versus middle. One of Magnus's Achilles' heel is that he is sometimes extremely weak in the laning phase, especially versus aggressive solo mids such as Queen of Pain, but versus Dragonite should be no problem.
Ben,
What's up?
I feel like we're not doing justice to this match. We started off on the wrong foot.
Okay.
There's some production miscues.
Yes.
There's some production miscues. It's a lot of production miscues.
It's not my fault. I blame
you.
I blame Kawa.
It's definitely...
I blame Vic the Slick.
Cow's watching now. You can't blame him. He'll know.
It's Vic the Slick.
He holds all the power. Whenever you're producing, you have the power. So
I know.
when Lumi was falling asleep, I just cut to the caster cam, and then Lumi looks like an ass. There you go. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, into the grand finals. Just kidding. The third, fourth place decider match. The Redbull ECL 2013. Winner of this match will walk home with, I think it's around $2,000. So it's a pretty minimal amount. First place is close to 15K. Second place is around 3, and then the remainder goes to the winner of this match. It's only going to be best of 1. Due to time constraints, I believe it was originally intended as a best of 3. Rising Stars versus Team DK. No surprises at all that DK have made it this far. I think the surprise is that Rising Stars got here.
Yeah, they beat out IG, and I think it was 2-0.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even close. They just got stomped. And IG did pretty well in the Alien World Cup, but in this playoff, they did not do well at all. And looking at the rest of the draft, we see Rising Stars not going with a team-oriented lineup at all. Looks like more lane-controlling phase outside of the DK and just a lot of utility and stuns. On the flip side, we have DK. They have a much better team-oriented lineup, and they only have 3 out of 4 heroes drafted. And we're still waiting their 4th pick right now. But Vacuum into an RP into an Unstable Concoction, that can easily kill 3 or 4 heroes if you catch them in the RP.
Wow.
Oh,
DK.
going back.
No,
Bringing Sexy back with Undying.
Yeah, they were running this Crystal Maiden Undying combo for a while. Very strong tri-lane pair. Can run it with the Alk especially. It's a lot of burst damage, a lot of lockdown against a hero like Weaver. If you tri-lane versus him, you frostbite him, you can channel the stun. If you have sentries, that stun, well, it can easily be enough damage and enough lockdown to kill him off. So I think if they go Crystal Maiden here, they could really bring the fight to Rising Stars early and possibly come out on top of at least one lane, if not. Like, the tri-lane, I expect they would probably win in that up against Visage, but still Undying, very strong against a hero like Visage. Can keep his teammates alive, can drive the Visage back, and just can constantly make the Visage's tri-lane a bit weaker. So I wouldn't be surprised if DK go for CM. And Rising Stars, they've done their homework.
They banned it.
They've seen this before from DK, and they'll go for the Doom as the last pick.
I like DK's lineup a lot more already, and this is even without the 5th hero pick. I think their lineup just has a lot more room for error and a lot more things to fall back on. If Alchemist will probably be safe lane, firstly, Rising Stars have to put a lot of pressure out on him so he doesn't get super second, super farmed. Even if he fails, they have the Magnus and power for him to catch up and the Ancient stacking. And even if that fails, they can always just resort to 5-man because their 5-man is just fantastic. And Darkseer shouldn't have too bad of a time either. They have a couple of stuns. But not really too much in the way of the triple lane. Doom is pretty good versus Darkseer and versus Magnus, but the team fight versus DK is still just far superior. And if all else fails, just 5-man. Hope you get a nice vacuum into an RP. Shouldn't be that bad. And last pick from Team DK is Lion.
Interesting. DK going for rather weak laning support.
Lion's pretty good versus Weaver, and he's especially good versus Weaver. But
He's very good against Weaver in the mid game. It's hard
Not
to
in the
actually
laning
kill the
phase.
Weaver early
right,
on.
Lion's one of the worst zoning out heroes, I think. I mean, he's ranged, which is
It's just such an awkward pairing, right? You get Undying, it's a hero that can contest the aggressive Trine. They can help keep you alive, and then Lion is the support that runs around with horrible starting strength, horrible base move speed, very low armor, very easy to kill, and very weak.
It
in the
is
Trine.
nice to follow up though after Magnus. The other option is usually THD if you want to go for huge damage output during the Magnus, but I like the Lion versus the THD here just because they already have a lot of team fight right now with the Tombstone and all the other stuff going on for them, so they can get a little bit more laning presence and a little bit more stronger mid-game ganking potential with the Lion, and at the sacrifice they're losing out on a little bit of AoE disable and damage with the THD, but if Burning gets sufficient farm, then that's not a problem.
Well, guys, it's the fourth place decider match. The grand finals will kick off immediately following this. It's going to be Orange versus LGD China. This match is a best of one. This is for all the marbles. Loser walks away with no money whatsoever, and for DK especially, you know they don't care about the money. They're going to the International 2013, but they want to walk away at least with a win in their pocket. It might be Burning's last year of Dota. He's signed through the end of this year. He did an interview, and he said he's 95% sure that he'll retire after 2013. So he'll want to go out with a bang for this tournament, and more importantly, this will be his last major LAN event heading into the International 3. On the Radiant side, we've got Team DK. Die, your Lion. Solo mid of an bygone age, now a very strong support. Super, the new solo mid. He's playing the Magnus. RTK, the Darkseer. QQQ, or Die, your Undying, your hard support player, also known as 357, and then Burning. Say no more about this man. He is one of the best carry players ever to grace the game of Dota. He'll be on the Alchemist. On the Dire side, you've got an upstart team, a young team, but a team that has started to put some wins together and make some waves. They're Rising Stars, fittingly named, I feel, as they are on the rise as of late. They've made it all the way to the fourth place decider match. They took down IG 2-0 to get here, and we have Xiao Tuji, your carry player, on the Weaver. Super, not DK Super, the other Super, on the Visage. XDD playing the Windrunner. We may have a rune clash. It looks like both teams not going to engage early on. Air, your solo mid, Dragonite. And then last but not least, XTT, new addition to the team. Just joined them, I believe, a week or two ago. Maybe a bit longer than that. From 4Love, he was their carry player. Now he's playing the 3 position.
This is much stronger Rising Stars than we saw at the TI3 Eastern qualifiers, and I feel like if they had this lineup, they would have made a decent run at qualifying for TI3. Unfortunately, we won't see them there, but talking about these matchups, top lane, Doom versus Darkseer. Darkseer.
By the way, I misspoke about XTT. He's actually who's playing for Vici Gaming. I was confusing him with the guy's playing for Vici Gaming now. They're new players from 4Love, but XTT was from Vici Gaming. Just brain fart for me. Haven't been casting today. I've been in producer mode, so apologize.
So back
for
to
that.
laning, ROTK should just dominate XTT top, especially with the DD rune. Even in the Doom safe lane, I think it's actually an advantage to Darkseer because he can creep that at the same time. But Darkseer versus melee usually not a good matchup for the melee.
Yeah,
maybe
you
an anti-mage.
You can eat an Ion Shield creep, but that's once every 70 seconds at level 1, so not really that reliable. The mid matchup, generally a pretty even matchup. If anything, maybe the Magnus would have a slight edge generally until there's level 6, but it will have an initiation bottom. Shatuji gets impaled, will Sakuchi away. There's a Sentry Ward here, but he'll be able to back off and he'll be in decent shape all the same. But yeah, that top lane obviously should go the Darkseer's way. The mid lane pretty even. Seems like the Magnus has the slightly better spammable spell, costs less mana, a little bit easier to use from range. But once the Dragonite hits 6, he might have a slight advantage. So the big question, Merlini, is how's the tri-lane looking for both teams, and who should come out on top here?
I think that Rising Stars should come out slightly on top just because it's so difficult to kill them. They don't have too much lockdown. They have a Lion, a level 1, an Alchemist at level 2, and without that Hex yet, Rising Stars should be able to stay alive, and even if they do get a kill, I think they'll be able to get a return kill just because Visage is just so darn good at doing that. So they have 3 range too, so QQQ can't really do anything. Burning will come under a lot of harass, and Lion will just get demolished if he tries to trace and harass. So we see a little bit of bottom rune.
We'll have a skirmish over the rune, but Super is going to bottle up a regen. That's a big rune to pick up. To be fair, he's got a Darkseer in the offlane, so he can bottle Crow. Darkseer will not be needing the courier this game, but it's a nice advantage. You can spam your nuke more aggressively. You can try and zone the DK out of the lane. So far, the top lane going well for the Darks here, 12-3, but our Doom not far behind, 10-1 there, and has the Devour Gold heading his way.
Oh, he already got an Alpha Wolf. What a lucky Doombringer. I was looking at his damage. I was like, dude, this guy has 92. Doesn't even have a Quelling Blade, but with that, he should be able to last hit very easily.
Yeah, it makes it much easier to last hit under tower. Obviously, regen's still going to be a bit of an issue for him. We'll see what he goes for. Tranquil Boots, perhaps. Rain of Health isn't really something you want to pick up. Generally, because it just doesn't build in any great items.
I would like to see RKD TK creep skip behind the tower and pull these into the camp. Just because Doom can't really contest you. He can eat a creep like once every 60 seconds or so, but other than that, like what's he gonna do? Just right click you? I mean, it doesn't do that much damage. ROTK will still be able to out harass him, but looks like he's making efficient use of top, going into the big camp and killing the Wild Wings at the same time to get that extra experience and gold.
For Team DK, they're now going to try and zone Super out of the lane. QQQ marches forward. Only level 2. Is a bit vulnerable to the minus armor of the Weaver's Swarm, but for the time being, there won't be an engagement. Just a self-stun for Burning.
And they lose a sentry, or they drop a sentry.
No follow-up. Shackle shot to fly from XDD. Will not connect. Still, both teams just eyeing each other from across the ravine. Nobody really willing to commit here. In the mid lane, we'll have some aggression. Super good build versus a 1v1 melee matchup. Just take a single point in power. Helps you last hit. Helps you harass them a tiny bit if they approach the wave. But otherwise, nothing too unusual happening so far this game.
Air getting a little bit unlucky with the runes. He was sitting at top, but it will spawn bottom for the 4 minute. Looks like Super is already heading there to secure it for him. But the other Super's heading there.
Which
Super? Skewer get it?
Who's the real Super? We're about to find out. Well, there's a new Super on the block.
And Burning can't go Greevil's Greed in this matchup, and it slightly hurts Alchemist, especially when they can't get any kills. But one thing that they can take advantage of is that they saw that Windrunner use Shackle earlier, and she doesn't actually have Windrun right now. But she'll be pretty close to level 3. I'm not sure whether she's going to get Power Shot at level 3
I feel
or Windrun.
The problem is that even though they have an Undying, their kill potential is so low. Because Lion, in order to set up a kill, it's not that the kill potential is low, I guess, but the Lion is almost certain to just feed his life away to get in position.
Yeah, I think with level 3 and the little bit longer duration on the stun as well as the Hex, they can probably kill the Windrunner. But they have to blow a lot of things to use it. Probably both spells from the Alchemist, both spells from the Lion, and 3 spells from Undying if he got the Soulbreak. He did not get Tombstone. What?
2 points in Decay, and now might pay for it as the Swarm comes through. That minus armor doing a lot of work here already. Sitting at -4 armor total. Xiaotuji on the chase. The Decay spam is decent, but not enough to match Soul Assumption. Now Burning will be self-stunning. Die on the run as well. This could be trouble. That's a 1-hero stun on XTD.
That was a lot of damage.
Now it Impale. Actually, a Shockwave rotation from Super. He scurries in for mid. Now Xiaotuji driven back. 1 for 1 so far, but Rising Stars, they do get the first blood, and they force a Magnus rotation. And that means, look what Air can do. He can push the mid tower, so call it a pretty significant advantage overall for Rising Stars. Off of that, and the top lane is actually not going that well for RTK. I mean, he's winning the lane in terms of CS. He is harassing XTT a bit, but you expect more out of your Darks here in a 1v1 melee matchup. Yeah,
maybe with the Bottle Crow from the Doom, he can have somewhat of a chance, but I think this Doom should just be dominated.
And he is behind very slightly, but in terms of net worth, he's actually just about there. The Devour is kicking in. So I think things are actually looking really good for Rising Stars.
Mm-hmm. And especially with his no Tombstone build from Undying. Tombstone, I think, is one of his strongest spells, his signature spell.
Yeah, leveling up Decay is great for those clashes where you can just man mode on them, but he doesn't even have boots yet, so you can get as tanky as you want, but they can just run away from you.
Yep, no man mode for him.
Well, it'll be very slow-moving man mode. It's, you know how there's like the modern zombies that move really quickly? They're like cats.
Oh yeah, he's
old school. He's like the old school zombies that are like, and they just sort of like lurch forward at you. The really scary modern ones are the ones that do that and then suddenly just jump. Like in that game, The Last of Us. I was watching Aosin play it the other day. Yep. But so far, so good for Rising Stars. Now Super going to go play some Magic Bush Ward, it looks like. No, actually a ward just behind the creep pole. So if any pulls happen, Dai could be in a lot of trouble here. Same for, well, not so much QQQ, but this Lion has to play perfectly. Is level 4 already. Has managed not to die yet, which to me is actually quite an accomplishment.
DK is losing their triple lane very, very badly, though. They are already down 1 kill on that, and Xiaotuji has 33 CS. Burning only has 9.
Yeah, they have 3 of the top 5 farmers here, and the Mag is barely in that top 5. He's only slightly ahead of the DK, so, or that top 4. So, and I would almost say that if 3 of the top 4 farmers, because you also have to factor in they have Devour Gold going their way, and so Doom is actually well ahead of the Magnus here. But the good news is DK does have Greevil's Greed. They've got a great 5-man lineup from Vacuum, from RP. They have that RP now. They do have Arcane Boots up on Super, and if they have one good team fight, this game could just completely turn around.
And they have Empower, and they have access to Ancient stacking. Either of these can be used to get Burning back in the game very, very quickly.
And now Burning, for the time being, he'll sit back in this bottom lane, not really finding much in terms of farm. It's only a best of 1, guys, so these teams, there's nothing to hold back. There's nothing to hide for a game 2 and a best of 3. We'll actually see a Doom top lane. XTT is going for it on RTK. Drops the level death, still chasing, needs a crit here probably to get this kill, but, well, he won't be able to find it. I think RTK is going to be
I would have totally gone for that if I were that Doom.
Even if you die, you force out an RP probably.
Yeah, and you
that's
usually
not a
get the
horrible
experience
trade.
before too, and Darkseer is up above in experience, but he did force it to Magnus to rotate. Unfortunately, Air has to go back to heal, so no pressure on the tower out for him. So they kind of just moving away from triple lane, trying to get some sort of foothold in the other two. MMY has this invisibility rune, but I don't actually know if they can kill. Well, he does have the Arcane Boost. Super was out of mana for RP on the top lane, but if they get Impale into a RP skewer from way into the tower, I don't know. DK is still very, very tanky, though, especially with treads already.
Yeah. They don't have Finger of Death yet. It's only a level 2 Impale and a level 2 Hex, so the damage output available from the line is minimal, and it's the new RP. If they can skewer him into tower, maybe then. But outside of that, I think it will actually be quite difficult to find a kill. And Burning just continues not to find farm on the bottom lane. 21 point Greevil's Greed. He selected a skill point there, but 12 and 2 in terms of CS. That is just not going to cut.
That is sad, sad Alchemist. And I think this has to do with the Lion pick from DK. He's not the best at zoning out, and also not the no Tombstone from the Undying, but also because Rising Stars drafted for a very, very lane presence heavy heroes with this triple range lineup, and Visage, one of the better ones. I think that was their first pick, so he is just phenomenal when it comes to damage output with Soul Assumption, and Xiao2G XED able to harass him very hard.
RTK's really got to be careful here. XTT has Doom in 1 second's time. It's not going to be your first blood, but it looks to be a kill. Another level death, and RTK is definitely going to hit the deck. Can he maybe get himself denied to an ally TPing in?
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't look like it. He does have some decent regen here from the headdress, but Doom's still taking him low. He's going to fall, almost certainly. The creeps cooperate, and down she goes.
Wow, I do not think that ROTK should lose his thing. There's been absolutely zero interference from Rising Stars.
He would have died twice if not for a mag TP, so call it 2 deaths basically for him in terms of how poorly the lane's going. Burning, however, bottom lane will get blown up. QQQ on the run. Now Grave Chilled, held in position by that slow, and should be brought down in short order. The Tombstone was taken eventually, but, well, this is an ability that if you don't level it, the Tombstone is not nearly as effective.
Burning was caught out without his Chemical Rage and just died so fast. He was like close to the tower line. He got shackled without Chemical Rage. He really has to watch his positioning. I think he's trying to scramble for some sort of farm, but that's when you stack creeps, you stack Ancients, you ask for that 1 level 1 power from Magnus, and just try and catch up.
You know, it's exactly as we discussed in the draft. I mean, immediately when we saw the Lion pick, I said, I don't know about this, because you go for an Undying. It's such an aggressive tri-lane hero. I guess they thought they could get away with it and then really shore up their mid-game and their late game, but I think, you know, the Undying not taking Tombstone, you point out maybe that would have made a difference, but ultimately, you pick Lion against an aggressive tri-lane with 3 ranged heroes, a Weaver, one of the stronger ranged heroes, and then a Visage, one of the strongest tri-lane heroes. You're probably going to have a bad time, and that's exactly what DK are having. A very, very bad time. Now trailing by 2,500 gold, 1,500 experience. We're 11.5 minutes in, and they are struggling, and they're struggling mightily.
They're still trying to come back in this bottom lane, too. Some people just like to completely ditch it and stack
on top
Ancients.
lane. RTK has been caught out. Look for the body block from Air. It's quite good. There is a Doom. Is it going to be dropped on RTK? No Doom, just the level death. Now, a skewer, an RP from Super, but he's driven XTT away from his team. The Shockwave's thrown back out the other direction, picks him off. Now Air, he found the kill on RTK. It's 3 heroes for Team DK, all rotating top. It's Burning as well. It's 4 to the top lane. The neutrals try to KS it. But the Satyrs cannot stop Burning from finally getting himself on the board. Call it 5-3. It was just 4-1. Good movement from DK, but it will come at the cost of a tier 1 bottom. And towers and jungle control are very important for all carries, but especially for an Alk that's behind, because he relies heavily on stacking the jungle and farming stacks with acid spray and right clicks to catch up, and it'll be hard to catch up when your jungle is no longer safe.
Yeah, he did get the 1 point of Greevil's Greed, getting that value, as Lumi would say, so that will help him catch up a little bit easier. A lot of Alchemists in the triple lane, when they're behind especially, go for max acid spray with 1 or 2 points in unstable concoction. And I feel like the max acid spray would have been a lot better for him. It'll speed up his farming, and it'll still contribute to team fights, whereas Greevil's Greed will just speed up your farming but contribute almost nothing to team fights. They haven't really had any like good unstable concoction ganks and follow-ups just because Lion's always in a defensive position. But he is level 6 right now. He does have a smoke. He can definitely make something happen with that 600 damage GG Finger of Death.
Yeah, you really want to start finding kills with it right away because it's got over a 2-minute cooldown. It's a very long, in fact, call it 2.5 minutes and a little bit over that. It's a very long cooldown. You want to start finding the kills early, and with the smoke, he'll now smoke with burning. So DK, not what I imagine they had in mind, but I think a necessary adjustment. They can't just lane. This Alchemist is not in a position to get a whole lot accomplished. Familiars are pushing in mid. The smoke gank starts to feel a little bit suspicious now. With the mid lane pushing towards the tier 2 mid, nobody rotating to defend, and just a bunch of heroes hanging around. They're going to smoke gank to kill Familiars, and they're not even going to get those, so yeah.
Yeah, well, Magnus does have his Blink
ideal.
Dagger, and Darkseer does have his mech very soon, 200 gold. I'm actually surprised that Rising Stars is pushing. They do have a decent early game lead, but their lineup isn't geared for 5-man.
Now Team DK looking to defend their tier 1 top, but Rising Stars commanding position. A mech already up for XTT. In comes the Familiar Stun from the backside. They've caught Burning. Burning's going to drop. There was a Blink RP. It caught a few, but is there the necessary follow-up? That's the big question. The vacuum's there, and I don't even think it matters. Rising Stars are fighting through this massive combo, this perfect initiation, Windrunner hitting the deck, and actually maybe driven back in the end. Lion will go down. Your Magnus barely surviving, and now the chase is on. So with the perfect RP and the vacuum there, it was just enough to get
Burning gonna die
2
again?
kills,
He just bought back.
But Burning's gonna go down. This will be another death for him.
Oh my goodness.
So make it 3-2, and they used everything. They revealed the Blink Dagger, they used RP, they used Vacuum Wall, they threw the book,